A red pickup truck parked crookedly at the far edge of the lot. Inside, a man sat slumped in the driver's seat, head tilted against the window. His eyes were closed. His face looked older than it probably was, lined with exhaustion. What caught her attention most was the uniform. Firefighter. At first, Emily felt annoyed. Is he sleeping on the job? She muttered under her breath. She had grown up hearing sirens at all hours, trusting that firefighters were always ready, always alert. Seeing one asleep in a car felt wrong, but something made her stop. Maybe it was the way his hands trembled slightly, even in sleep, or how the dark circles under his eyes looked almost bruised. Or maybe it was the radio on his dashboard, crackling softly with emergency chatter, never fully turned off. Emily stood there longer than she meant to, grocery bags digging into her fingers. She told herself to leave. This wasn't her business. Yet her feet didn't move. Instead, she walked closer. Through the windshield, she saw more details. The man's helmet sat on the passenger seat, scratched and worn. A photo was tucked into the sun visor, barely visible, but enough for Emily to see a smiling little girl with missing front teeth. Her chest tightened. This wasn't laziness. This was exhaustion on a level she couldn't remember ever feeling. Emily tapped gently on the window. The man startled awake instantly, eyes wide, hand moving on instinct as if reaching for something that wasn't there. When he realized where he was, his shoulders sagged. "I'm sorry," he said quickly, rolling down the window. His voice was hoarse. I didn't mean to." "It's okay," Emily said, surprised by the softness in her own voice. "I just wanted to check if you were all right." He hesitated, then nodded. Yeah, I'm fine." But he didn't look fine. His name was Jake Miller. He'd been a firefighter for 12 years. Married once. Divorced now. One daughter, Lily, age 6. He hadn't slept in a real bed in 2 days. Emily didn't know all of that yet. She just saw a man who looked like he was carrying the weight of the world alone. "Have you eaten today?" she asked. Jake blinked, caught off guard. I think I had a protein bar last night." She didn't ask permission. She handed him one of her grocery bags through the window. A sandwich, a banana, a bottle of water. "I insist," she said when he tried to refuse. "My brother's a nurse. I've seen what exhaustion does to people who help everyone else." Jake swallowed hard. "Thank you." That should have been the end of it. A small act of kindness between strangers. But life had other plans. Over the next few weeks, Emily kept seeing Jake. Sometimes parked outside the fire station. Sometimes near the park. Always in his truck. Always exhausted. One afternoon, she finally asked the question that had been burning in her chest. "Why don't you go home?" she asked gently. Jake stared straight ahead for a long moment. Then he laughed. A short, bitter sound. "Because home costs money," he said. "And right now, I don't have enough of it." The truth spilled out slowly like a dam cracking. After a massive warehouse fire months earlier, Jake had pulled 3 people from a collapsing building. He'd been hailed as a hero. Medals. Handshakes. Headlines. But the smoke damage to his lungs meant medical bills. His ex-wife had moved with Lily to another state. Child support payments piled up. Rent went unpaid. Eventually, his landlord changed the locks. Jake never told anyone at the station. Pride wouldn't let him. He showered there. Slept in his truck between shifts. Smiled through roll calls like nothing was wrong. "I save people for a living," he said quietly. "But I couldn't save my own life from falling apart." Emily felt something break inside her. That night she couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Lily's photo on the visor. About a man who ran into burning buildings but slept alone in a cold truck. The next morning she made a decision. Emily wasn't rich. She worked as a high school counselor. But she knew people. And she knew how to tell a story. She started small. Post on social media. No names. No photos. Just the truth. "There's a firefighter in our city sleeping in his car. Not because he's lazy. Not because he's broken. But because life hit him harder than he could handle alone." The response was immediate. Comments. Shares. Messages from strangers asking how they could help. A local coffee shop offered free meals. A landlord reached out about a short-term apartment. The fire department union stepped in when they finally learned the truth. Within a week, Jake had a bed, a door that locked, a fridge with food inside. The day he moved into his small apartment, Emily stopped by with a housewarming gift, a blanket and a framed photo. It was the picture from his visor. "I asked Lily's mom if I could copy it," Emily said with a smile. Jake couldn't speak. He just sat down on the couch and cried. Months later, Jake was back on his feet. His health improved. He transferred closer to his daughter. The truck was clean now, empty of blankets and sadness. One evening, as sirens echoed in the distance, Emily asked him, "Do you ever think about that day in the parking lot?" "All the time," Jake said. "You didn't just wake me up from sleep. You woke me up from thinking I had to do everything alone."